When you do a freelance job for someone and they don't pay you, what do you do to get your money? Do you threaten to take them to court? Do you spitefully start calling their job and other places that they work to try and cost them money and time the same way they costed you yours? Or do you just follow them around with a mean face, a sword, and 2 6-shooter guns, destroying everything that's in your path until they finally give you your fickin' money? Hey guys, this is Yusef for Video Game Plot Summaries, and today's game is Wet. Man, I sure took a long time for this one. Real quick before we start though, sorry for the hiatus. I mean, it takes me a long time to even get the time to do these video game plot summaries. I mean, I play the games a lot, but the video game plot summaries requires me some extra work. So if you'd like to give me a thumbs up or whatever for the work, that would be nice. Anyway, let's get cracking. First of all, a quick game review. Should you play the game? Yes. If you haven't played the game, go ahead and play it. It should cost you like $5 or whatever. I don't know, but it's one of my favorites. It captures the essence of Grimehouse, maybe a Quentin Tarantino type movie, something like that. And Rubi slides through with efficiency. You've got 2 monkey guns that you shoot with that have unlimited ammo, and you can slow things down and create combos by sliding and jumping and shooting at the same time, and you can shoot more than one person at a time. One gun is locked onto a person, the other gun you can use to aim at another person at the same time. Plus the slow-mo makes everything all right. It's a cool game. Please check it out. And if you care about stories like I care about stories, then stop this thing now, check out the game, and then come back. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's get into the story. We start off the game with our protagonist, Rubi Malone, looking through a huge skylight down into a dining room area with 2 dudes who look like they're about to make a deal. The one dude with the electrolarynx, that's the machine that helps you talk if you've had your trachea taken out of your throat. He says, "I heard that the pickup was supposed to be made by a woman." The other dude says, "Yeah, there's been a change of plans, and now I am doing the pickup for Mr. Ackers. My name is Simmons." I'm sorry for the bad accents, but the game doesn't do that much better, so... So anyway, Electrolarynx goes ahead and makes the sale with Simmons. But of course, halfway through the exchange, Simmons pulls out a gun and puts a hot one right in Mr. Larynx's head. Then a gunfight starts as Simmons exits stage right. Who doesn't check to see if their briefcase is full of money before they make the big exchange? I mean, don't these guys usually have accountants who pick up one stack of money and flip through it? And then Sight counts the rest of the briefcase based on the sample he picked up? You know, it's just a little flip and it's all there. Anyway, Rubi sees Simmons escape with the briefcase. And she was the woman who was supposed to make the pickup when Simmons showed up a little earlier than she did. You know, you gotta get there and case the building to see what your exit strategies are if you need to get away quickly. Well, that's all shot to crap now as Rubi says her battle phrase.
Here we go.
And she just falls through the skylight into that shootout and starts blasting everybody away. After that, she follows Simmons right out the door. So, Rubi relentlessly follows Simmons, and I mean relentless. Simmons about 6 all of the Chinese gangsters on Rubi, and she blows them all away. Then, when Simmons drives away in his car, she jumps off the 3rd-story parking deck onto a school bus and onto a semi-truck. And then she leaps from car to car on the freeway, killing Chinese gangsters while in pursuit. When Ruby finally catches up to Simmons, she slaps him a few times, takes the case, and shoots his driver. Then she uses the windshield of a semi-truck behind her to provide a soft landing and stop her momentum. Ruby is just not playing with these dudes. With his car destroyed, Simmons is laying on the ground and he's screaming about not being able to feel his legs. He starts to light a cigarette, but Ruby slaps it out of his hand and starts to walk away. This pisses off Simmons, and he starts calling Ruby a bitch for leaving him there. That's when Ruby's like,
You should have stopped it. I can't feel my legs.
and she throws the lighter into a pool of gasoline. And of course, she walks away while the car explodes behind her, and she doesn't even flinch. I mean, it's one of the oldest tropes ever, but it's still pretty dope, am I right? Ruby's next stop is the hospital, where she gets immediately attacked by Trevor Acker's security. Once Trevor realizes who Ruby is, he signals the blackest surgeon I've ever seen in my life to take the case. And I know black surgeons, like real talk. I know one from Africa, so that's how black I know black surgeons. Anyway, looks like it was a new heart for Trevor's daddy, William Ackers. Ruby gets her money and leaves. No time for the bull spit. A year later, a limo appears at Ruby's palatial abandoned plain yard estate. See, Ruby already knows what's up, so she grabs that Quebec and checks those monkey guns.
Here we go.
Two assassins pop out of the limo. First, it's a dude with a lot of Sharpies named The Collector. Then it's a chick with a shoulder problem named Tarantula. The man in the limo is William Ackers himself. I guess the operation worked, huh? He explains that he is the one she got the heart for. She doesn't give a flip.
What is it that you want?
My son.
Hold up. So they hired the sexy, angry-faced Elijah Dushku from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Bring It On fame to voice Rubi Malone. Most of her lines are just one-liners, but you can tell by the irritation in her voice that Ruby doesn't waste time, hates her time being wasted, and doesn't give a flip about your stupid story. You better tell her how much money you are paying, or she might shoot you in the face. Anyway, Willie says that his son is in Hong Kong doing bad stuff with bad people, and he wants Ruby to bring him back. Ruby snubs the job, but when Willie says he's down to pay extra, she's like, let's get it. So in Hong Kong, Ruby has a connection named Ming and his brother Ji. Now, Ming clearly calls his brother Ji.
Don't worry about G. He'll come around.
But Eliza didn't get the memo and calls him Z the whole time. It's totally weird. Anyway, Ji gives her the cold shoulder for some reason, probably because of the name thing. Ming gives her a folder with info about William Ackers and explains that William is a big dog in the import-export business and that his son is the heir. But then the cinema camera shows what's inside the folder and it's just 2 damn pictures. Come on, Ming, what the heck? Put some papers in there or something. It's called research, not Google search. That was horrible. Anyway, as far as Trevor's whereabouts, Ming doesn't know, even though the one thing Ming came through on is surveillance pictures. How'd you take them then? Ming sends Ruby to find the rat for that info. So Ruby goes to the Ghetto and into the Chinese Thunderdome. Upon exiting, she runs into the rat. He tries to get away, but she shoots his hand off first and then asks where Trevor is. I think it was supposed to be the other way around, but I guess you don't have to tell somebody how vicious you are if you just ran through their whole army. The rat reveals that Trevor is at the docks making a payoff to a local magistrate. Ruby heads to the spot just as the money handoff is happening. The magistrate's bodyguard spots Ruby immediately. She calls Ming and tells him to meet her in 20 minutes. 20 minutes of chasing Trevor over and through a parade, and she knocks Trevor out just as Ming pulls up. Ruby throws Trevor in the trunk, and all three of them drive off to the airport to fly to London. After a flight and a car ride, Ruby shows up to Williams' spot at a fish processing factory. Ruby, of course, says, "Here's your kid, where's my money?" And Williams gives her the briefcase, and she walks straight out. While she is getting her walk on, Willie and Tarantula wake up Trevor. Trevor looks at his dad and starts talking to him like William isn't his dad. Even spits on him.
You ain't got the guts, have ya?
William signals Tarantula and she beheads Trevor. Guess he won't be attending that hat convention later this year. Shout out to Hudson Hawk, it's like my favorite movie. Ruby gets close to the door and then she sees Trevor's head rolling in front of her. That floor must be on a steep incline. She stops to look at it, and then the henchman puts guns in her face and takes her money. Really? William signals the collector to finish Ruby off, and they have a pretty cool fight scene that I can't really watch because of the bottom prompt drawing my attention to random parts of the screen. The collector stabs Ruby in the kidney and then jumps out of the window saying, "We'll meet again someday." Didn't your boss just tell you to finish me? What the heck is this now? I think about it every time I see this scene. How do you interpret "finish this" to mean stab her in the kidney and jump out of the window? It makes no sense to me. So after the stab, Ruby collapses. Then, out of nowhere, she wakes up in the boat of her friend Milo. What the hell? I mean, she was in a factory. Then, after being unconscious for a week, she wakes up in a friendly boat. Talk about a plot hole. This is a plot canyon. Anyway, Ruby of course wants William Ackers, and Milo doesn't know anything, but he calls a lady named Kafka Dvorak, who is willing to give up info for a very special book being transferred by a plane to Rome. Ruby gets on the plane.
Why is it always planes? Here we go.
Has a shootout that blows the plane up, and free falls into the book and to the last parachute, even though I didn't see her actually have the book when she opened the parachute. Ruby brings the book to Kafka, and she tells Ruby a secret way to get into William Ackers' mansion on an island on a cliff. So Ruby beelines it through the minefield. Well, I guess you can't quite beeline it through hidden explosives. What is a beeline anyway? Is that a Subway reference? Does New York's Beeline train go straight? Whatever. Ruby climbs her way to the top of the castle to get to William Ackers. There's only one problem though. That's not the same guy who betrayed her. He is, however, all sorts of pissed off that she killed his only son though. He yells at Ruby demanding answers. Ruby stares at him like, "Are you sure you are William Ackers?" William takes his chance to try and strangle Ruby, and Ruby barely frees herself and he escapes. She thinks about following him, but there is no point. She then escapes off the island and goes back to Milo's boat to tell him about the setup. Milo figures out the main bad guy is Rupert Pelham, based on Ruby's description of his very flamboyant bodyguards. I mean, how anyone could miss that tarantula chick is beyond me. Milo explains that Rupert Pelham ships drugs to China and has everyone hooked on a drug called Dragon's Breath. The name of the drug doesn't matter though. This game is full of throwaway lines strictly because Ruby doesn't give a damn about anything else but her objective. I mean, I know that they need to set up where Ruby is going next, but a few times people will mention things in the story and you will strain to remember it thinking it pertains to something. But I'm telling you right now that at no time will Ruby give a lecture about Rupert Pelham ruining China with Dragon's Breath. She's not Jackie Chan. So Ruby heads back to Hong Kong and meets up with Ming, who, instead of dealing information, is now selling Ruby guns. When Ruby shows up, she says,
Hey, Z.
And he storms out very quickly. If she was black, she would probably call him G by mistake, like, "What up, G?" And he would be like, "How do you know my name?" Ming tells Ruby that Rupert Pelham's distributing Dragon's Breath all over the world and has assembled a few people that do it, which he calls the Tiger's Claw. I don't understand why Rupert didn't relate the name of the group to a dragon, but whatever. Missed opportunity, if you ask me. Christopher Sorrell handles the global shipping, and June Lee handles Dragon's Breath distribution to the drug dealers. That's the hit list. Ming also tells Ruby to try out the ice factory in the Hong Kong harbor to get a lead on Pelham. Ruby leaves just as G walks in.
See you around, Z.
Ming tries to talk to G to see what's going on with him.
G, listen to me.
But he hears a knock on the door. Ming, of course, engages in the age-old trope of not asking who's at the door before he opens it. Surprise! It's a bunch of guys in motorcycle outfits with guns. Video game logic time. I don't understand what Pelham's plan was in killing Trevor Ackers. And Trevor was handling deals in Hong Kong, which was Rupert Pelham's stomping ground. True. But it doesn't look like the Ackers family were really involved in drug dealing, just importing and exporting. If you take out Trevor, but the father is still alive, then your planning is for 10 or 15 years in the future? Why wouldn't he try to kill both of them? Rupert just kills Trevor and then stops and goes back to business as usual, it seems. He also had a squad of killers on his payroll already, so there was no point in getting Ruby to capture Trevor. He's not friends with Ruby. He wasn't like, "Oh, hey Ruby, it's nice to see you. What is this, an intervention?" So Ruby shoots up the harbor, finds one of Julie's elite guys, and asks him where his boss is headed. He tells her his boss is going to the opera house. At first, I thought this was June Lee, but then the next scene, June Lee is there letting Rupert Pelham out of the limo. On top of that, the opera house has dragons on it. Why not tigers? For Tiger's Claw. I know I'm taking this too far, but I'm sorry. Hit the thumbs up button though if you think I'm racist for not being able to tell the two Asian people apart in the last and next scene. I'm a jerk. Anyway, Ruby goes to the opera house and into a hydroponic weed growing area. Or maybe it's Dragon's Breath before they process it or something. I don't know. It looked like weed. After that, he runs into G, just sitting there looking shocked and babbling. She calls him Z like 5 more times and tells him that they need to go immediately.
Give me a second.
Z, there's no time.
Right when they start walking, Rupert Pelham and his 2 bodyguards are already standing there. Ruby pushes down G and starts shooting people until the tarantula shoots Ruby's guns out of her hands. Then Rupert starts monologuing about how Ruby is so fascinating because
You come into my house, my home, my castle. You stir things up, and then you expect to just walk out. That fascinates me. You and your little monkey guns and you're jumping up and bumping around. You've got a set of balls, and that's what fascinates me.
as he's talking, G injects her with some tranquilizer and says, "That's for getting my name wrong all these years. I hate you, Ruby." I don't know which accent I was using there. It turned French something. Whatever. Anyway, Ruby wakes up to find herself being beaten by Christopher Sorrell, the shipper guy. He has her half naked and hooked up to a metal tub with water in it. Sorrell is convinced that William Ackers sent Ruby because apparently he doesn't know that Rupert Pelham set her up and owes her money. After about 15 seconds of actual interrogation, he gives up and leaves Ruby to the torturer. The moment Christopher Sorrell leaves the room, Ruby frees herself quite easily. Like she just unhooks herself and beats up the torturer, throws him in the tub and turns on the electricity. There's no drama behind it or anything. So now Ruby, the pit bull, is on the trail of Christopher Sorrell. Of course, Ruby destroys everything until she spots Christopher fleeing in a car. So again, she's chasing somebody on the freeway by jumping from car to car, but this time, she's being attacked by June Lee's motorcycle gang. Eventually, June Lee appears and tries to help Christopher escape, but he gets caught in midair by Ruby as she slices his chest open. Unfortunately, stopping June Lee was the distraction that Christopher needed to get away. So Ruby walks right up to June Lee, who is still alive, and puts a monkey gun in his Johnson and asks him where Christopher's going. And June Lee says, London, to keep his nuts, but then gets shot in the face immediately because you know Ruby don't play them games. After the betrayal of G, Ruby goes back to Ming's place to find him beaten within an inch of his life, holding nunchucks to defend himself. I was kind of expecting him to use something more Chinese, but I have like 3 pair of nunchaku that I would use to defend the house, and I'm black, so whatever. Anyway, Ming uses his dying breath to plead that Ruby saves G, and she says she will. Then she goes back to Milo for a weapon pickup in London. Milo just keeps reminding Ruby that the job is too dangerous for her. I wish just one time Ruby would turn around and say, "No, Milo, it's too dangerous for you because you's a bitch." Milo does, however, explains to Ruby that Christopher is in a canning factory that they're using as a temporary base since their other bases were kinda blown up somehow. Ruby, of course, demolishes this base too and finally catches up with Christopher. Christopher knows she's coming for him, and he is crapping his pants. He finds his exit, but when he finally opens the door, his escape route is on fire. He looks at the fire, then he looks at Ruby, and he decides that the fire is a better option. Even though Chris is about 100 steps ahead in a collapsing fiery hallway, Ruby, Prince of Persia's her way through all the debris to catch up. Chris unfortunately tortured Ruby earlier in the movie, so Ruby lets the fire heat her blade and starts burning Chris with it over and over until he tells her that Rupert Pelham has gone back to William Ackard's place to finish the job. Fortunately, Ruby knows where that is exactly. She slices off Christopher's leg and leaves him to burn to death in the fire. That was the summary. Now here's the ending.
It was you. Business is business, old man. No offense. But why, my boy? You don't do that!
She's here.
Damn it. All right, Ruby, come on out. I know it's me you're after. The least you can do is be forthcoming about it. Isn't that better? Mano a mano, tete-a-tete.
Aw, I thought we had something special.
You're like a turd in a punch bowl, Ruby. You have to ruin everything that's nice and good and sweet. Take her now, but make it slow. I want her to feel everything that's happening to her.
Here we go.
Where are you, freak? You afraid to face me? I'm not finished with you. Come on! Don't be shy, bitch!
Bummer. Sucks for you.
You want me? Take me. You want my money too? Here, take it. Fuck you.
No. Fuck you. Yeah. Close enough.
I know it wasn't you. But still, you delivered him to his death.
I had no idea.
Ignorance is no excuse. But your actions here... Know this. We are not enemies. But we are not friends.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, guys, that was the story of Wet. As in Wet Works. As in a lot of blood. Leave a thumbs up if you like that story or whatever. If you liked my telling of the story, I'd appreciate it. I'm still gonna shell for these thumbs up, y'all. I finally got this channel to catch up to the channel that I already had for much longer, you know, my video game channel, and I want to continue this. My goal is to at least get up to the number of subscribers that it takes for me to send out messages so that I can ask you guys which stories you would like to hear first. I mean, right now the only way you can do it really is to leave me a comment or a message or something like that, or PayPal. I mean, what is it called? Patreon. I do have a Patreon, whatever. But yeah, thumbs up if you liked it. Anyway, now it's time for me to talk about it or whatever. I think this game is dope. I really enjoy it. And if you had played through the game, you know, I hope you enjoyed it too. The story is straight up grindhouse. I love that shit. I love the idea that there's this unstoppable force of a woman who doesn't get to have any other personality than basically being the Punisher, if the Punisher was like a professional hitman or woman or whatever. I mean, she's not sent to kill anybody. You know what I'm saying? She's sent to pick up things, and then everything goes to ass, but that's okay because she's always gonna complete her objective. I think that's dope. And anytime somebody tries to monologue or give her any oh, well, you know, my grandfather, he built this business 70 years ago, she always cuts them off. She can't stand that crap. She's like, you got something else? Give me my fucking money. Like, I love that. I don't understand. Yeah, if there are more female protagonists like this who cut through all the crap, I would just be in video game heaven. You know what I'm saying? As it is now, everybody's got to talk about their feelings and give a damn. This woman knows that her feelings are worthless to everybody else. So in return, their feelings don't mean anything to her. Like, you tell she has feelings with Ming, G, even though she keeps saying his name wrong, Milo. These people are part of her inner circle. She cares deeply about them. But anybody who comes to her door trying to pay her for something, she's just like, just give me the information. Tell me how much money you're gonna pay me, or else I'm going back and kicking it in my beat up, not working airplane. So crazy. Like, what the heck are you doing with your money anyway? Why the hell are you in a dirty plane when you know you probably got tens of thousands of dollars squirreled away somewhere? Tens of thousands. I'm thinking low. 6 figures, man. Ruby's a super professional. I mean, look at the efficiency she got. So everything went to shit in the first mission, and she still got her shit done in time. You know what I'm saying? Chased down that dude, beat his butt, about left him there alive because she ain't killing on purpose, I guess. She didn't try to kill him. She just needed that case, you know. Just so happened he blew up. Anyway, yeah, it's a dope game, and most definitely. If you haven't checked it out, but you watched the whole video game plot summary, that's fine. But still, you know, play the game. It's fun. It's a lot of sliding and everything. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for joining me on the video game plot summaries. I'm impressed I kept this one under 30 minutes this time. That's hard to get. And I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.